In our community and beyond, there may come a time when we realize we were not prepared for the loss of a spouse or a partner. Suddenly, we are faced with questions like, where is that list of usernames and passwords, financial documents? Where are all of our equipment warranties, service agreements, insurance papers? Who services our cars, our HVAC and irrigation systems, and more? These situations can cause us to reflect on how we should have done some things differently, paid more attention, been better prepared. Those are the times when we say to ourselves, wish I would have known. Let's join our Wish I Would Have Known host, Denise Ertel.
In this episode of Wish I Would Have Known, we're going to talk with a couple in Tellico Village who might be our poster children for how to do things right, how to plan for the future so that we can live independently no matter what life changes happen to us. Marita and Kevin, thank you for joining us today and for offering to share your experiences and your advice. Marita, let me start with you. You told us you and your husband were virtually interchangeable in terms of knowing and understanding things about your personal finances, things around the house, about each other. What in your background prompted you to do this and to plan so far ahead?
Kevin and I were both previously married before. Kevin was divorced. I was widowed at a young age. When I was married, my husband came down with Huntington's disease, and it was a long-term illness. And I was basically told by the doctors to go home and put my affairs in order. And that's when I learned that there were so many things that I had to be able to pick up and do that my husband used to do.
So what types of things now that with that experience, how have you prepared?
We know basically everything about each other, what medications each other are on, how to shut off the water in the house if you have a leak. All the things that are typically either the female role or the male role, you need to be interchangeable so you can pick up and handle them on your own.
And Kevin, what in your background has given you this motivation?
Well, I spent 10 years as EMT in New York City, and so I saw a lot of people going through tragic situations, emergency situations, and so I always had this thought, what if? So Marita and I, we both play a lot of what if games, and so we asked the question, what if this happened? How would we react? What would we do? Okay, we understand that at some point in time here in Tellico Village, one of us is going to be alone, and so we talk about those what if situations. For instance, when we go to a doctor, we'll go in, most of the time, we'll go into the doctor's office during the consult part, either before or after. This way we know what's going on, because a lot of times you're talking to a doctor, you may not fully grasp what's going on. So if your partner's there and you come back and say, oh, what did the doctor say? Well, the doctor said do this. Okay, and then you have both. So we're fully aware of what's going on. We may not stay there for the exam part, kind of a thing, but those types of situations. And so those what ifs, playing those what if games has really helped us plan for the future.
Mm-hmm. Is there anything you've done to write things down or document things so that your other people, loved ones in your family would also know what they need to do to help you?
Well, Marita has this book. The book is called I'm Dead, Now What? And it sounds kind of macabre, but basically what it is, it lists everything. So it walks you through a process of where are all your passcodes? Do you know this? Do you know the safe combinations? If you check, what are your credit card numbers? All those kinds of things. So there are lists in there so that it's a one-stop. We can go there. We can just go open the safe, go ahead, grab that, and then.
And you know how to get into the safe.
Yes.
And we know how to get
that's an
into
important
the
thing. Yeah, we actually know someone that had that situation where they did not know the combination and had to hire a locksmith to come and open up the safe because all their important papers were in there.
Marita, you mentioned to me that you said second marriages complicate things. How so?
It's not like the first marriage where you're kind of starry-eyed and everything is wonderful. You've already got life experiences, you've got baggage. A lot of times there's children. When you get into that second marriage, it's a new person coming into their lives, replacing that parent. And you really have to sit down and you have to go over finances, and you have to go over wills, and you have to really go through all this.
Is there a tendency for people to want to keep their finances and things separate rather than meld them together?
I think every situation is different. When I was married to my first husband, we got home from the honeymoon, he handed me the checkbook, said, "Here, this is yours." So I already knew how to handle everything. But a lot of times you'll have children, they may resent the new partner, and so everything kind of has to be brought out there from the beginning. Who's going to get the proceeds from the house?
Have those discussions.
Have those discussions before it happens.
Is there any other advice that you might give people, who are looking at this now that, to your point, Kevin, this isn't going to happen to me, but I need to have these difficult conversations that you would suggest so that they don't have these regrets someday? Geez, I wish I would have known that, or I wish I would have talked about that.
Be realistic about your situation. Understand we're not kids anymore. When you're 20 years old, you can go ahead and say, oh, that's never going to happen to me. But now it's going to happen. And so it's important that you think about the future. You think about the fact, what will I do when I'm alone? Don't be the person that says, I wish I had thought about that before. I wish I had had that conversation with my spouse. I wish I had had that conversation with my kids. And so if you do that up front, be honest about it. It's uncomfortable, but we're all going to deal with it at some point in time, in our lives.
And I love your suggestion of just doing the what if scenarios and continue to do them, not once, but every time something comes up.
And there are a lot of resources right here in Tellico Village. There's Stay in Tellico. We have all the churches. We have support groups. And if you're active in the community and you belong to groups, those people become your family. And reach out to them because they're more than happy to help.
That's great advice. Thank you both for joining us today. We hope that this is valuable information for you. And please join us. We're going to have more episodes of Wish I Would Have Known. Thank you.